incentive that we have that we go over recruiting, because for those that are encouraged, motivated, and excited about the recruiting incentive is obviously we need to recruit 5 people by November 10th and sell 10 memberships. So if you, just to start out, if you think about that, if you recruit 5 people, you've already done half the work towards those 10 memberships. So the recruiting strategies, hopefully, that we will review today will help encourage you and help you to reach that goal if, in fact, you are committed to that. I personally am committed to that, and I'm looking forward to using these strategies myself. So with that, we're going to go on to the next screen. And I have Ms. Trish running my program for me. So here is ShieldNation's philosophy, which obviously we want to always keep in the forefront of our mind. If you want to build $1 million business, it starts with you. So we want to keep it super simple. And obviously, the way that more people are going to join us and obviously want to be a part of our business is that the more we use our services and then we share those services, then a satisfied customer obviously is who is going to come from the use of our membership that will want to join our mission, and will be able to coach them to do the same thing that we have done, which is use the product, share the product, coach them, and through that process, obviously, we're going to have a duplication that will help you build your business. So always keep that philosophy on the forefront of your mind, and then what we will do next is, you can go ahead, Trish, is obviously if you do, first you need to do what, and then you can teach it, because you can't teach what you don't know, and you can't lead where you won't go. So you can see in this visual that you as the leader are out front, and you're leading the pack, sharing the services, sharing the opportunity, and so you can then lead people to where you've been through that process. And so we'll go to the next one. So here's a profile of a productive associate, everyone, is that these are the characteristics that you're going to want to look for in bringing on a new associate. Is obviously you want them to be single-mindedness, meaning that they have some focus. And we're always looking for someone that has a burning desire. What that means, obviously, is that they have a burning desire to change where they are, to have more time freedom or more financial freedom, but they have a burning desire to change in the position that they're in. And then obviously we want people that are persistent, that aren't here today and gone tomorrow, that if a storm comes up in the business or in your prospecting, you quit. So you want to be persistent and consistent. Most of you being leaders on this phone have been persistent and consistent, and that's why you have this success. And obviously all of us have that burning desire to obviously impact our communities with our services, the opportunity, and obviously through that process we're going to be able to have a duplicatable system that we're looking for those individuals with those same characteristics. So keep those in mind, that those are when you meet someone, that you're going to want to kind of tune into what is that is their burning desire. Is it staying at home with their kids? Is it sending them to college? And that will obviously definitely motivate. And what that comes down to, obviously, is their why. And that why will drive that burning desire. So a recruiter's mindset, when you look at this, you look at that picture on the left versus on the right, you guys, and here's the difference. When you sit down, you're going to want to have the mindset of on the right. And what that means is this, is when you are sitting across the table from that recruit, some people are just thinking about how can I get this person into the business, or I'm going to get this associate, or this is going to be my lucky day, and I'm going to, I have a Bob Cohen or a Dave Savola or Teresa Johnson, and that's a person that's right in front of me, and I'm so excited to work with her or him. However, what you want to do is expand your thinking to the right picture. And what that means is not only are we thinking, okay, who, about Bob or Teresa or David, who did Bob, Dave, or Teresa have in, who do they know, where they work, who's their circle of influence to, whether it's a business or an individual, because obviously we want to expand, not just have that one recruit, but have obviously get into their market, who they do business with, and help them. So you can see that one person can literally create potential recruits and business partners, and obviously opportunities to market our services to hundreds of individuals versus just that one. So hopefully I think that's a great visual that Darcy has created for us. And next. Trish, are you there? Okay, great. So who pardon me? I'm sorry. Okay, no worries. Who are you looking for? Okay, so here are some of the people that when I go into the networking events, you're going to want to look for misplaced achievers. An example of a misplaced achiever would be like Chris Hughes or Darnell Self. They were achievers, and they were shoe salesmen, they were retailers. Michael Humes, he was a misplaced postman. So that is something that you would want to look for, is someone who is a high achiever but is unsatisfied. And that would be like even the unhappy, successful. And I can relate to that even with myself with pharmaceuticals. I was making a very good living, and we called it the golden handcuffs. And it was because staying in hotels and living 50% of my life in the hotel, getting Christmas cards from the general manager. But yeah, I was making a good living. I got to drive that, Dodge Caravan, and we always joke about that versus our BMW that we have. But I was pretty successful. I was in the top 10, but I was very unhappy and praying for a way out. So that would be another person that you might be looking for, who's had it and lost it. Would be like Lisa and John Schiller. They were hugely successful in their contend. The market crashes in 2007 and 2008, or before that, yeah, actually for John and Lisa. And so they had a taste of it, having that lifestyle, and that would be someone. The other one is who's teachable and money motivated. I mean, who is willing to learn the system, and who is by having a residual income. It was really interesting. I was talking to a gentleman even yesterday out of North Dakota, and I know he's successful, and I know he's motivated. He's an entrepreneur, and I said, so how for you? Well, that was such a motivator for him. He was just like, I don't have one, and I know I need one. So he's motivated, he's teachable, willing to do what it takes. That's like, it's not the flavor of the day. It's who's willing to stay in the game and continue to work the system, lifting it, and are not here today and gone tomorrow. So what we're going to do and what we're looking for, the people that are anywhere in those first 5, who do you know? And those are some of the people that you're going to want to put down on paper, but also think about those that you're in networking groups or who you reach and meet these characteristics. So on the next one. So here's what our philosophy is, again, is obviously we want to share the service to build the business. Why? Because we all know that a satisfied customer that we enroll in our services through us. We have these, if you can see on the left-hand side, you have the customers. And what happens is you find a customer that says, I want a part of this, I want to help my friends and family, I want to serve them. And so then they become associates. They share with their customer base. And you can see the customer becomes associates. And so this is just a repetitive process that we do, is we share the service and build the business. And that is why, because then they're satisfied and they will literally stick and stay. So next slide. Okay, it's a warm market strategy. And I'm just going to remind people, again, there's some background noise that is maybe distracting to people and they can't hear. So please check your phone and make sure it's on mute. The warm market strategy. Why don't people call their warm market, and why do they experience the above? So go ahead. Here's the biggie. I know that many of you have probably talked to a friend or a family member, and they're looking at you like, oh yeah, this is one of those things. What are you doing now? And the thing is that we have that fear of rejection and what they're going to think they experience the above. is they don't understand their purpose, so they feel like they are selling their friends. And here's what's really interesting. Some people will literally come into the business and say, I don't want to talk to my friends and family. And so obviously they don't understand their purpose. They think that they're selling something, so they don't see the value of what we're offering. And obviously the purpose for shop people you want to share so they can benefit. I mean, when we care about someone who wants to get their hair done, we direct them to a hairdresser. When we care about someone who wants to have a good night out on the town, we tell them what movie to go to. So friends and family, the peace of mind. And in fact, that's what I said to so many of my people is if once you see a value, once you get the will done, once you use the services, you are going to want me to be with this and have our services. And also, when you look at identity theft, when you get that letter from Blue Cross Blue Shield like I did that said that they have my social security number, they have my medical ID number, my address, my email address, and there's 80 million other people out there that have had that same situation, you can count on the fact that I'm going to be shouting from the mountaintop that we have a service that will help benefit them and protect them. And the purpose for sharing the business, obviously, is to see if they know anyone that can help you to serve more people. So it's not just that one recruiter, that one customer. It's like, who else do you know that you care about that you would want to have these services in their hands? And hopefully it's everybody. I mean, that's my belief with what we do. Go ahead. So an executive recruiter's strategy. You need to know, when you're an executive recruiter, you need to know what they are looking at. Ask questions and ask everyone if they know someone who has those qualities we talked about, such as the burning desire, consistent, persistent, single-mindedness, stay the course. You're going to want to ask people what or who they know, and not for their opinion, because frankly we don't, I hate to say this, but their opinion doesn't count in the sense that they don't know enough to give an informed opinion at this time. So what our goal is in being an executive recruiter is obviously to fill the position as soon as possible. So you're going to ask those individuals, who do they know, and that you're going to become that headhunter philosophy, and that's how you'll work. So, and number 3 is being a business consultant. We talk about this all the time, and it's always so great to go back and have these reminders, because when you show a business professional or owner how they can benefit from our services, then what's in it for them, it's like that radio station we always talk about, WIIFM, is what is in it for the business owner, how they could benefit. It's going to impact their bottom line. It's going to protect their company. It's going to reduce their risk. It's going to retain great employees when it comes to offering the employee benefits or even the small business plan. So you use you, them, they, and not I, me, and mine when we talk about it. So when you say your bottom line is going to be impacted, your risk to your company is going to be reduced because you're going to have the training and education of identity theft to your employees. So our goal, we always have to keep in mind, is how do we find a need and fill it by painting the picture of how they would benefit. So, Mr. Businessman, when you have your top employee away from the job 607 hours when they have an identity theft crisis or a legal crisis, what would that do to your bottom line and your production at this business? Those particular business owners are going to get the picture that, oh my gosh, here's an example, perfect example of an account that I have that is a dealership, and this particular owner, his comptroller was away on a medical emergency. It wasn't even a legal or identity theft, but that's a perfect example. He was away for almost 2 to 4 weeks, and that, I thought the owner was going to have a heart attack and a stroke because he was so stressed out because his controller was away. So when you paint that picture that how it's going to impact them personally and their business, and we add value by showing them what we can do for them, it's huge. And so that will be such a great benefit of how we serve them, and we don't sell them. We're here to partner with them and to help them build their business and protect their business, and then always use that third-party validation. Our tools are absolutely the best out there. Our consumer folder talks about, obviously, all those areas of identity theft, all the areas of the legal, and it's that's a third party. And obviously, if you have a newspaper article in your local market or even anything across the country, that's showing the need in the marketplace for business owners, obviously, to have our services. So next. So your 3-foot rule strategy, these are all the different strategies, is that you're going to turn a cold market into a warm market. And we've all discussed the acronym of FORM, being family, occupation, recreation, and then the message. So when you're listening and asking questions, like, so tell me about your family, you're going to find out if they have kids in college, if they're graduated, if they have even grandkids that they want to help support. Do they want private schools? Have time together? When it comes to occupation or recreation, what do you do? I bet you just love it. Are you making the kind of money you want? Well, you know, it's really interesting because, frankly, I have had a couple people say, yeah, I'm making all the money I want, which, you know, was kind of a shocker for me, but everyone's perception is their reality. So then I went on to, well, do you have the freedom to take vacations when you want, or time to spend with your family? Do you create your own schedule? So that gets them thinking about what, you know, if they had the picture perfect world around them, what it would look like. And with recreation, what do you do for fun? Is it dancing? Is it skiing? Is it fishing? Is it, you know, going and traveling to, you know, foreign lands, or just sitting on a beach? And then the message that we always would want to convey is, you mentioned that you were very dissatisfied with your work and the hours that you're working. Were you serious or just kidding around? Can I get your card, and I might be able to help you? Call, and then you call and show them the money. So what you're doing is you're not selling them, recruiting them, anything on the point at that moment. You're gathering information. So when you do call them back, which the fortune is in the follow-up, you're going to say to them and repeat back to them what they told you, and say, were you serious or just kidding around? Because I might have a solution for you to be able to help you get what you want in this life. So that is the 3-foot strategy, which is also very good. And then there's the personal conversation strategy. The goal, again, is to fill a need that you discovered through talking to them at a networking event, for instance. So you call up and say, hey, Bob, this is Katie. I'm running out the door. And when we were at the chamber event the other day, you mentioned that you were looking for another stream of income because your consulting job was slowing down. Were you serious, or were you just kidding around? And you let him answer, of course, and he says, oh, I was just kidding. You say, okay, great. Well, if you ever get serious, give me a call. Or 3 months, and maybe you'll be a little bit more serious. If they say, I was serious, that's when you say, great. I think I have a way that I can help you. And we can help you get that second stream of income, but I can't get into it right now. When can we get together over a cup of coffee? I'd like to run an idea past you. So it's like you're not selling them, you're setting the appointment, which is the most important, filling in the gaps of what they personally have shared with you in regards to their interests, their needs, and their family, occupation. And so through that process, hopefully that can help you with just having an informal personal conversation to set up a formal sit-down. And then next. Trish. There you go. Thanks. So the possible results when we go through these strategies, everyone, is that there's one of two things that obviously will happen. The individual you're talking to is going to have a fear of loss, and they will become an associate on your team if you tell them that the timing couldn't be better, that we are, have so much momentum, and our numbers are up, and we're impacting people's lives, and obviously with our income, and so they have a fear of loss of missing out on the timing. And then if they're not interested, then you want to get the referrals. You will get the referrals by asking, who do you know that is interested in participating in our mission? Who you know that is interested in having a residual income? I mean, I've been able to recruit a number of people by saying, who do you know? And I don't even ask them, and they say, well, what about me? Which is awesome, because you say, well, let's get together and have a cup of coffee. So these are the possible results. And the next slide is obviously James 4:3 says, if you ask and don't receive, it's because your reasons for asking are wrong. You want things only to please yourself. So I truly believe that everyone on the phone, we are of a group of service-minded people that we're out to help protect people, decrease their risks, and put a shield of armor around them in this world that's so complicated these days. So next. So the key to this success is to say less to more people. That's so important. There's no debating on the service or opportunity, and you are recruiting a fit, not convincing an unfit. So here's an example. Let's pretend I have one of you out in the field, and I go through A to Z our product and our services, and I'm telling them everything, and I'm just doing blah, blah, blah. The problem with field training someone, and they're with me, and they see me talking ad nausea, that person that I'm field training, for instance, they're going to think they have to do the exact same thing, and we're setting up that field trainee for failure because they're brand new, they don't know the product, and they're going to feel intimidated. The other thing is you want the tools to do the work for us, so we say less to more people and sit down with the consumer folder, we'll sit down and lead them to the videos, different things of that nature. So it's not about us, it's about the system and what we have, so they know that it is duplicatable. By no means do we want to debate on the service or opportunity. Obviously, we have to be committed and like bleed Legal Shield and ID Shield to the point where no one can obviously shake our confidence in what we're doing with our service and the opportunity, because it's not about convincing them. That we always had a saying that amateurs convince and professionals recruit. So we don't want to convince someone to get into the business, people, because if we convince them to get in, then we're going to have to convince them to go to work, and that is exhausting. So timing is everything, and if the timing isn't right for them, you just say, I'll call you back in 3 months, and maybe things will be different, and you'll be more open to changing things the way they are today. So next, there's 3 types of prospects. You're looking for someone to say yes or no. And the reason why is because the don't knows, those are the ones that can kind of exhaust you because you keep calling, and hopefully you keep calling and following up because that's what we're supposed to do. But at the same time, obviously the 3 types of prospects is when they say yes, you review with them and you're relaxed and you recruit them again over and over again throughout the whole process because they don't know as much as we do. So it's awesome because they're relaxed, you're relaxed, and you review and then you recruit. The don't knows, like I said, you have to remind them, you have to rephrase it, you have to return, you have to call on, and sometimes that can be, like I said, exhausting. But the no's also is the timing isn't right forever. I mean, literally, even in the group arena, I've literally been working on a group that is going to come through this fall that has 800 employees, and these individuals are in 20 different states, and I have been literally calling on this account for over 4 years. So it wasn't no, never, it was the timing. It was, and what I needed to remove was their objections and paint the picture of reality. And obviously, another thing that you can do with recruiting is ask for those referrals again. So that's always the key, is always be asking either business owners or the individuals that you're recruiting what is, or who do they know that could benefit from our services and who's looking for an opportunity. So those are the 3 types of prospects. And then obviously, you guys, we're going to just briefly go over these sheets, because here's the deal. You're going to need to have a tracking sheet, because if you're going to be doing your 2 a day, which is 10 a week, which is 40 a month, you're going to want to have a track record of where they're at, who they are, what their phone number is, what you've given them, what if they're a member, if they're associate, and just continue to keep them in the system. And then the next sheet is another, you can go ahead, Trish, is another tracking sheet with the wealth builder tracking form that literally tells you that you did the 3-way call, you did one-on-one, you sat down, what tool did you use. This kind of keeps you just, organized, clear and concise of where you're going and what's your next step with those individuals, whether it's a membership or if it's a referral. And then also, go ahead, Trish. In the personal daily achievement, you can see that how people can set up their days is it does include actually, that they have a Bible study or they have a phone time and things like that. And when you look at the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, The reds are the ones that did not get the membership, but they gave 3 referrals, like Jones on Monday and Edmonds on Tuesday. They gave 3 referrals, but they didn't get the services or become an associate. And you can see Smith gave 5 referrals, but they also purchased at $35.95, and that obviously was our old pricing. But here's just a way for you to, again, look at what you're doing every day. It's interesting when you stop and analyze how much time we waste on a daily basis, that when people get self-focused on the 2 to 5 a day, your personal day achievement in that tracking sheet is going to be it's going to be completely full. So I think that might be it. So what I'd like to do is go out to the field and ask what recruiting principles have you learned over this, and how you may apply them. And so we can open it up, or Trish, would you like to do that? Just look and see who has their hand up, and we will watch you.
Yes, if you would raise your hand, I will unmute you, and you can speak to Katie.
Hey, this is Bob. I'll start.
Okay, Bob. How are you?
And great webinar, Katie. Thank you so much. I'm sitting here. I got a whole page of notes, and I'm just thinking back here of all the years. It comes back to, number one, being that satisfied customer. That's exactly what did it for me. I know when I first got introduced to Legal Shield, my brother, he had joined about 6 months prior, and I just poo-pooed it. Kept inviting me out to see people and such, but nothing didn't grab my attention. But when I finally used the service, I was going through a legal situation with some real estate that I owned for months, and I literally, picked up the phone, called Parker Stanberry there in downtown LA. Here of the service, being a satisfied customer first. So I think I see that a lot with my team when I'm kind of doing a plan to review and such. I think that's really important. Second, the mindset, the recruiter's mindset of really the different types of people that we're looking for. That is really good. I'm glad you went over that again. The type of people we are looking for. And folks, if you want to have fun, make sure you have a Profiles of Success book. Every single presentation I go to, I bring back, my book's already trashed. I had to go to Office Depot and go get it rebound because the darn thing was already falling apart. And this is just since July. So again, very, very encouraging. Highlight some of the backgrounds there of people. Your background, Ms. Huff, pharmaceutical. Many a time I'm talking to somebody and I'm praising, hey, look at my business partner here. Look at her background. Look what she's gone on to do here with Legal Shield. So I think that Profile Success is really an underutilized, tool that we have. And then just one last couple comment here. I just want to say is that we've always been trained to really use the tools to disqualify people. And I love that one slide there that says say less to more people. Because, folks, when you really think about it, this market is so big, we can't do it on our own. The Hoffmans talk about how we have a sales and marketing company. I think the Coins say we have a staffing company. We're looking to staff our company. And that's what really a recruiter's mindset is that we can't do it by ourselves. Just look at your own town, your own city where you live. It's probably, the market share is so huge that's available. You normally don't see this in this type of a situation, especially with a 40-year-old company. So again, ladies and gentlemen, use the tools. That's why I like the Wealth Builder tracking form. That's a great way to literally expose people. And if you'll see the little fine print there on the top of that form says within 48 hours. If you see it, the Wealth Builders tracking form, if you can make that a little bit bigger, it says no longer than 48 hours between exposures. That's the goal here, folks. is that, if we get somebody out to a webinar first, then we follow up with them. We do a 3-way call. Maybe we get them out to an event. Here we are coming into the weekend. We've got our Sunday conference call. That's a great exposure to just keep moving people through the process. Now, here's the thing. If we do it right, ladies and gentlemen, once someone comes into the business is how they typically do the business. So if you're spending, 4 hours twisting somebody's arm about Legal Shield, guess what? They're going to think that's what they have to do, and they're never going to do it. So, again, if you really want to have some fun with people, especially when they're brand new, ask them, how did they get exposed to Legal Shield? What was the exact process? And, again, the more duplicatable you can keep it, meaning you lean on the tools to do the work, the more successful duplicatable team you're going to have. So just a thoughts from me there, Ms. Huff, and thank you so much for letting me share.
You're welcome. Thanks, Bob. Just to kind of piggyback on what he said with the 48 hours, and a perfect example is this. I am always training my team that you do the 4 steps within 48 hours at the most. And what that means is you have the contact and the introduction, you give the tool, you do the 3-way call, and on the 4th step is whether they become a member or an associate. But the thing is if you wait longer than 48 hours, a perfect example is if you guys just stop and think, what did you have for lunch last Saturday afternoon? Chances are many of you don't even know what you had because it was so long ago. So when you put that kind of a thinking into, okay, you gave them a tool 3 months ago, 2 weeks ago, a week ago, even 5 days ago, let's say they went home and watched that video or went online and saw the Today's Best Career. If you don't call them back within 48 hours, it's not hot on their mind. They don't remember the commissions or the services as well. And so we have a bigger risk of losing them, and you have to restart that 4-step process all over again if you take longer than 48 hours. So hopefully that helps when you think about, geez, I can call them tomorrow or the next day, is that you just really want to get into that that mindset of 48 hours max. So thanks for your comments, Bob. Anyone else? How about Radine Baskerville? She has her hand up. Hello?
It looks like she's not on the phone. Alice, you're unmuted.
Good morning. This is Alice. Can you hear me?
I can. Go ahead.
Okay. Hi, Katie. A wonderful webinar. I really enjoyed. Great tips. I have a little bit of a challenge in asking for referrals. Could you give me some examples of language when you ask for referrals?
Sure. I would say, Alice, I don't know if I told you, but our mission is to create equal justice, a reality across North America. And I definitely feel that you probably know some people that don't have access to the legal system. We want to put a protective wall around our friends and family. Who do you know that you care about, that you would want them to hear about the way that they can get their wills done and have equal justice? So you can go to the mission. You can go to, I'm glad that you see the opportunity. If they're joining, obviously you're going to create their list. If they aren't joining, but they see the value of the membership, you would always go back to, we have a flat monthly fee, as we've discussed. 80% of people don't have the will done, which is very critical to have in place. Who do you know that you think may not be in that position that they have these estate planning in place? Or you can just use the system. Who do you know that has teenage drivers and they're paying a lot for insurance, that we might be able to decrease their costs? Things of that nature. So you go back to the heart of why we are offering our services, obviously to protect the company, to protect the family, to reduce their risk. And so who do you know that you would like to protect? Does that help?
Thank you, Katie. That really does help. And I for some reason, you that really registered with me, and I had forgotten that about bringing it back to the membership. And so, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. A few more.
How about Mr. Tony Petrell?
Yeah, great. Great job, Katie, and great slides and PowerPoint. Can you put up number 4, the slide that had number 4? I'm looking at number 1 now, but number 4.
Trish, are you there? There you go.
There we go. Sweet. Wait a second. I'm clicking on too many things. Okay, so got that. Okay, I just needed to see that again because I didn't get a chance to. I mean, you were talking about form, family, occupation, recreation, and then the message. And the message was a little different. I'd heard motivation, same thing. You can roll that in the same thing. Cool. Katie, what website are you sending people to if they say, well, let me go ahead and check you out? Or, shoot me a link to something.
Right. Great question. I always send everyone to todaysbestcareer.com. And that obviously is on ShieldNation. Darcy has done just an amazing job of showing the compensation, showing the incentives, and obviously they have the video that corporate has created that talks about so many people's backgrounds. So that's the one that I always use. How about you?
Okay, yeah, love that. And if they ask for a corporate, a Legal Shield type website, I'll mention that your website's going to look just like mine, and you can see at the bottom that there's business owners, employee benefits, things like that. Another website that's pretty interesting is business.legalshield.com. It's a go-to for B2B business solutions. It's got business, HR, broker, and affinity. And that's business.legalshield.com. businessfirst.legalshield.com.
Right.
And that's just got the statistics and things in the videos. It's got the HR video, 3.5 HR video, 2.5 small business owner video, and et cetera.
Correct. Yeah, that's a great one for small business and employee benefits. I agree. And then for recruiting, I always use the Today's Best Career. So great feedback. Thanks.
So yeah, I think a couple quick last things. I think it's a big part. Like Wednesday, I had a lunch. We did a luncheon, and a guy showed up who's a B2B pro, and I needed to show him that business.legalshield.com. So he saw that there was easy ways for him to show this opportunity, or show this membership rather. He could be there, and then I showed him the plan recommender. I showed him the proposal, and he said, "Wow, okay, you've got the tools in place. I don't have to reinvent the wheel." And I said, "That's my point. Got the brochures, we got the websites, we got the videos, we got the proposal online. It's all turnkey." Hey, one thing that I heard Sue Martinez say in Orlando was, we need to set up your renewal commission account. And to set up the renewal commission account in the partnership, I know you're not going to run full-time with Legal Shield, but you've got contacts in the companies. So we need to set up your renewal commission account so you'll get paid year after year, month after month. And that's just a one-time $249 setup fee, and you'll get a basic website, things like that. I thought that was a great concept, renewal commission account. And the other thing is, I had a conference call yesterday with James Russo, and we're going to be recording a B2B sizzle call for prospects to sell and come into the B2B market. So look for that on the horizon within a month. Back to you.
Great, thank you. Okay, just a couple more.
Jim Riley.
Okay, go ahead.
Katie, can you hear me?
I can. Go ahead, Jim.
Great, thank you, Katie. Great insight. Thank you very much for sharing this. Hey, what really stood out was you said amateurs try to convince people, and how true that is. We all see this at networking meetings, at chamber meetings. You get people who show up there, not necessarily Legal Shield folks, but anybody in small businesses, excuse me, what they typically do is they show up and throw up on you about what their business, everything about their business, and it happens so much. And I learned something a while back, that communication is the response that you get. So if you're speaking to somebody about something, or throwing up on them and all about your business, and you do not get any great response, well, that's the way you're communicating. Communication is the response that you get. So I just wanted to share that. Thanks again for the insight. It's great. By the way, it's Jim Riley, and I'm from New York.
Okay, thanks, Jim. Yeah, you're absolutely right. And when I see that happening, what that tells me a lot of times, number one, you know, it's what we discuss, amateurs try to convince, but I think we, again, take it away from what is the purpose of us talking to them. It's not about us. It's about getting to know them. And God gave us, you know, 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason, thank God. And so if we listen, then we know what their hot buttons are to be able to meet and fulfill their needs. And that's why that message is, were you serious about wanting to have your kids in private? Serious about this, because I might have an answer, but you're not going to know what they're serious about or what they like if we don't ask the questions and then listen versus just, like you said, vomiting all of our stuff. So thank you for that point. Okay, one more.
All right, let's wrap it up with Miss Teresa Johnson.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Kate. What an excellent job this morning sharing this information about recruiting. And, you know, I have to be honest that recruiting has not been my strong. Can you hear me okay?
Sure can. Go ahead.
Okay. I have to say that recruiting has not been the strongest area for me. However, I've challenged myself to do the 10 recruits. Now, that I don't have to do the 10 recruits because I'll obviously qualify with the executive director status in the Performance Club and the 80%, but I really want to expand my business as you suggested. And so, you know, I made a conscious decision, 5 for the Holland Stone Cipher Challenge, but do another 5 by December 31st to get 10 so that I can expand my business. So getting this information today, and we hear it all the time, but when the student is ready, the teacher will certainly appear. And I mean, I love what you talked about in terms of, you know, just looking at who are the different types of people, the misplaced person, because there are a lot of misplaced people who are just waiting for the right opportunity, learning to talk to more and more people. And I used to say, you know, I'm not looking for everybody in my business, and you know, I'm not looking for everybody in my business, but I really am, because those who are not a fit, they certainly can provide referrals to me. And so it's really important that we're asking for those referrals, because that's where you will find that fit. So everybody plays a role in you building your business and getting people involved in your business. And I just think that the webinar today was just right on point, and the timing could not be better. And you know, getting out there, sharing the information with as many people as possible. And what I've noticed, and you hit on it in the very beginning, is that sometimes people just, they don't want to share it with their friends. They don't want to tell anybody that they're doing, quote unquote, this. And that's because they don't have a belief in the decision that they have made. They don't believe that they can accomplish all of their goals through a business of their own. They have still the employee mindset, and that's not their fault. That's all they've ever known. But you know, we're here to help educate people, and you know, when they are ready, they're going to raise their hand, and we can move them to the next level. And so, you know, we can't be worried about what other people are going to think. We just have to get the word out. We have to plant the seed. If you don't plant the seed, then guess what? You can never have a harvest. I believe in planting the seed and letting the universe water it. And so when they are ready, they're going to come back to me, because they're going to remember I'm the one who planted that seed. And I'll periodically continue to just drip on them gingerly. I'm not trying to, like the gentleman said, throw up on them, but it's so important that we do that. And if they never get ready, it's okay. They may lead me to someone who is ready. So with that, I turn it back over to you, Katie. Again, excellent job this morning.
Thanks, Teresa, for your points and insight. And for everyone that participated, thank you for showing up. And, you know, that's a huge part of, obviously, our success. And hopefully you can take some of these tips to the field for the fourth quarter of the year and finish the year strong. And obviously, participate in Mr. Stonecipher's memorial incentive, because let's keep always, at least I keep always in my mind the mission of equal justice and what Mr. Stonecipher wanted for everyone in North America is to have access to the legal system. So it should be a huge motivator for all of us, and in return be able to build a very successful, duplicatable team. So with that, have a blessed Friday, an awesome weekend, and we'll talk to you guys next week. Take care and God bless.
Great.